stress-free travel hacks. Traveling can be very, very stressful, especially when it comes to going on airplanes. There's always the risk of running late or ending up at the wrong terminal or something else going wrong, especially these days. Flights are getting cancelled all the time, they're delayed, lots of things can go wrong. So how can you make sure that your travels are as stress-free as possible? There are a few important tips that should help you. The first is preparedness. Preparedness starts even before you end up in the airport. It begins with making sure you know exactly what terminal you're going at, what plane you're going to be on, what time your plane is leaving, where you're going, that sort of thing. It also involves making sure you show up early and also ensuring that you have your ticket ready to go. I know these days that, your ticket's on your phone, you just show it, everything's ready to go, but just so things are a bit calmer, I always like to print out the ticket as well. Maybe I lose my phone, maybe my phone breaks, maybe the site doesn't work, I can't access my ticket online. So again, I like to have it printed out just in case. I probably won't even use it, but just in case I know it's there. I also like to make sure that I show up quite early to the airport, mainly because anything can happen between your home and the airport. You might end up in a terrible traffic jam, there might be an accident on the highway that stalls you for much longer than you expected. You might end up at the airport and there's a massive line. Anything can happen. So I know it's a bit much, but I like to show up 4 hours early. That way you have plenty of time to actually get to the airport, especially if your airport is far away from where you are. Then once I get to the airport, there's no need to rush. I can get through security, get everything checked out, and just wait at the terminal for the plane to be ready. It's also a nice time to just kind of relax and eat some of the airport snacks, which is one of my favorite pastimes. But besides that, getting there, 4 hours early, maybe 3, but with all the delays and cancellations, I would say 4 minimum. Getting there early is always just a good way to give yourself a nice foundation. Another important tip is to be very aware of what is being said on the loudspeakers in the airport. Sometimes a man or a woman will chime in and mention something, but a lot of times people do not listen to them because they're busy doing something else, they're already stressed out because they're already late, things are going on. But I've found being very closely aware to what is being said on the loudspeakers in the airport can make quite a world of difference, because often they will announce a terminal change. So your ticket might say go to terminal whatever, XYZ. Then there's a terminal change. No one has announced it except on the loudspeakers, and if you weren't paying attention, you're in trouble. So pay attention, your terminal may change, and if you're not paying attention, you could miss your flight, and that of course adds quite a bit of stress to your trip. Another important tip, make sure you have everything you need when you travel. And I'm not saying bring your whole house with you, I'm saying bring the essentials. Make sure you have a certain number of clothes to bring with you, maybe a few shirts, a few under things, a few shirts, a few pairs of pants, and extra socks. Be prepared depending on the weather that you're going to. Bringing a few snacks with you is always good. And of course your electronics, make sure you bring your charger for your phone, batteries, things like that. And if you're traveling with the intent of doing something more active like hiking, make sure you're extra prepared and you have all your equipment. And my last tip, which I think is arguably the most important, is to stay calm when things go wrong, because a lot of things go wrong when you travel. Cancellations and delays are more common than ever. Even if your plane is delayed, you might think, alright, there's still hope. But once you get on that delayed plane, if you have a connecting flight, you might not make it to that flight in time, you might have to rebook things. It's a lot of stress, a lot of problems. But instead of getting stressed, it's important to stay calm, because getting stressed can actually make things more difficult because you can't think straight. So staying calm while it is difficult is very important, and it can help you go through things much more smoothly than you would if you were extremely stressed. So keeping all that in mind, you shouldn't have too much trouble staying stress-free throughout your travels. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. I make videos about 3 times a week, so stick around for those.